Big Brother All-Stars 2 has made me feel like an insane person for the last couple months. But before I explain why, I want to preface this review by saying if you've clicked on this video hoping to hear me rant about how Big Brother as a game is broken, that BB22 was the worst thing ever, that Allison Grodner repeatedly broke into my house every Thursday night at precisely 9:01 p.m. Eastern Time and disconnected my live feeds for 3 hours for no good reason, well, fair point on that last part, but still, you're out of luck. That said, you also won't find me in the other camp praising this season much at all. But the good news is that there are other aplenty insane people in the fandom outside of myself willing to do those things for you, so feel free to hop on social media and get to step in because they've existed long before this video was even a twinkle in my eye. Ladies and gentlemen, internet, my name is Peridiam, and I have been a big fan of Big Brother for over a third of my life. The first time I discovered the live feeds, I was blown away. Are you kidding me? That's them from the TV right there on my computer. Hayden, Enzo, Brittany, look at Lane. He's just standing there. Being able to watch a socially strategic game play out in real time, minute by minute, was a wet dream. And I could never have imagined over a decade later I would still be doing the same thing and enjoying it just as much, if not more. And since then, I have watched every season of Big Brother multiple times, reliving their glory again and again. Danielle tricks Marcellus, Kaser takes a shot at Cappy, Dr. Will peels off his skin and is a literal robot, Dan's funeral, Vanessa's twin takeover, whoever is responsible for making these moments possible, I wish I could go to the CBS headquarters and give you a firm, congratulatory handshake. You've earned it. This YouTube channel wouldn't exist without these moments, and at this point, to say I love Big Brother might be a colossal understatement. I think it's important for you to know all of this context of how big a fan I am of Big Brother before I say what I'm unfortunately about to say. Big Brother All-Stars 2. I think that while the producers deserve all the praise for making this season possible, for giving me as a fan more to chew on and digest over a summer where I had little else better to do, and given the state of the world going into this season, it's amazing the steps they took to get it off the ground, from building the challenges to running protocol behind the scenes, let alone to assembling and finally bringing back an entire cast of returning players, a concept nearly 15 years in the making. In spite of all that hard work, for me, as a Big Brother fan, Big Brother All-Stars 2 has been the biggest disappointment of a Big Brother season I have ever watched throughout my entire viewing experience, and what's more, I think it was inevitable. But before you sound off and you don't want to hear any of it, let me dig into that a little deeper and explain why, because I know some fans out there may have enjoyed it or been satisfied with its conclusion, and if you are one of them, then I am legitimately happy for you. Please do not let go of that feeling. I have been there. I know what it's like to not go with the grain. I am glad that you enjoyed it. I'm kind of jealous, but as for myself, well... Hello? Hey, what's up, man? Okay, one more time. You were saying? Yeah, praise the Mega Line strategy, respect the HOH, groupthink is good feeds, give this season a... Wait, what? Repeat that? A 9.5? You think they're gonna buy that? Yeah, I don't want to piss off CBS. Yes? Oh, okay, man. Yeah, it was a top 5 season. I will say it. Dude, you'll get your cut. Don't worry. Hey, oh, by the way, one last thing before you go. Can you link me to Danny's Facebook page? Anyone and everyone knows this season of Big Brother featured a heavy dose of preseason phone calls, largely based upon relationships established way before the season was even a reality. Pregaming. The big elephant in the room, the crocodile under the bed. It's like its own mysterious game before the actual game where there are no live feeds and the aforementioned anyone and everyone gets to participate. Players call each other, make deals, create allies, set themselves up to at least survive the initial madness, if not longer.
Yo, I got you to the end, bro. Like, trust me.
We're good, bro. You don't gotta worry.
Listen, I see Cody. He's a nice Italian kid from Jersey. I'm born and raised in New Jersey. You know we're working with each other. That's it. It's just an unwritten rule.
Because unlike a regular season with new players who usually don't know each other, returning players live in their own little bubble and have past relationships to fall back on. Whether it's with players potentially on the upcoming season or not, there are apparently no rules when it comes to the long, frantic, chaotic stretch of time most infamously known as the preseason. No lie, there was more drama going into BB22 than there was on BB22. I was wildly entertained hearing all of the rumors, some true, some not so much, the real and fake cast lists, the podcasts, and the speculation, and seeing so many alumni surfacing to give their takes. To go from the most dreamlike season of Survivor, Winners at War, to the most frequently requested season of Big Brother in the history of the show, in the span of just a few months, the fandom were living like kings and queens, shouting "F you" to 2020. You can take away our social gatherings, but guess what? We were never leaving our rooms anyway. Who even needs to go outside? I was so excited. I even did the unthinkable. I did a face reveal and rebranded my entire channel. And then, later that day, Big Brother All-Stars 2 began. And then it began.
Tonight, Big Brother celebrates its 20th anniversary, and I promise this will be a season to remember. You've been asking for this for years, and it is finally here. Let me officially welcome you to the live season premiere of...
Wait, it's probably about 5 minutes.
For the first time ever on a mainline version of Big Brother, we had day one live feeds. The episode aired, and not long after, the live feeds turned on, and they actually turned on. I was pretty skeptical going into this night, anticipating that it probably wasn't going to be what I was expecting, but it entirely was. Normally the cast moves in a week ahead of time, and we get the live feeds on like day 7 or 8, long after the initial bonds have been forged, alliances built, sometimes even after the first Power of Veto competition has happened. But day 1 live feeds were a major wishlist item that, while not at the top of my we need to talk about this producers list, was a really great start to what felt like could be a really great season.
Since I was on the show last, I've become a father. To a precious little 4-year-old now. I want him growing up in a world where he knows that we're better than this.
Just seeing Keisha come back, Janelle and Kaser, fan favorites Tyler and Davon, Danny Briones, Ian? Okay, hold on. Where's Dan? Where's Danielle Reyes? Where's Derek? Vanessa? Paul? You're telling me they couldn't even get like Donnie?
Oh my god, you must be like silly. I am a silly, silly girl.
Okay, no, it's fine. You know what? I'll keep an open mind. I will see what a first boot can do. I'll be honest, the All-Stars 2 cast left me skeptical, not because any one of these individuals wasn't so worthy of being dubbed an All-Star. I've watched too many Survivor seasons to care about debating labels such as Game Changer or Fan Favorite, but more so because I couldn't see them collectively adding up to a cohesive whole. Instead of Big Brother All-Stars, it kind of felt like Big Brother in the shadow of All-Stars, with so many players who almost won, but were never the main reason I was tuning in to watch that season. So when you combine a lot of them together, I was excited just to see so many back, but was hesitant to call this the 15-year cast so many fans have been waiting for. But day 1 live feeds were a treat, and I was snacking hard, and I really hope that they stick around indefinitely. They added so much to those early days and explained the initial dynamics that set the stage for the rest of the season, especially with this season where some of the most important conversations were held in those first few days. I also didn't mind the safety suite twist to start. It wasn't overbearing, it didn't mangle the tried and tested format of the show. It was actually quite simple in practice and had a good risk-reward baked in where you could only compete once, but you could save a friend if you won. It rewarded social play, but required physical prowess to obtain, and I wouldn't mind it returning in some form in a future season. Chalk this one up as being a good twist. If you're gonna mess with the game, this is the kind of stuff that I'm cool with. Of course, it then turned into the basement doling out powers, a retread of the usual. Didn't care for this one as much, it was entirely expected, and while I was okay with it happening in one fell swoop in one competition, all in one day, and it being anonymous, I can't say we haven't seen this before. Personally, I'm over the powers. I hope they don't return. They never really do much of anything if you look back historically. Many of them are weak, either totally forgettable or really powerful. and they just don't lend themselves to being a necessary ingredient to what makes Big Brother so much fun to watch. And then, of course, we have the neighbor's house twist, which is about as necessary for me to talk about in this video as it was impacting for the players on the actual show. That is to say,
I mean, come on, you didn't think you could have All-Stars without me, did you?
We're going to keep them in the dark just a little bit longer.
12 seconds later.
It's a triple eviction.
Wait, what?
Oh my God.
so while I was apprehensive with the cast going into day one, I felt a lot better and have a lot of good things to say from the production side of things, the stuff they controlled, between the twists to the week one feeds to even just pulling together an entire cast of returning players amidst the middle of a pandemic. Like, that sentence is crazy, and the fact that they pulled it off and they did a really good job with it makes me feel really good about all that. That they even entertained the idea and then followed through with putting on a show full of previous players is wild. It's weird to say after the season is over, now that I'm all tired and withered and reduced to a husk, but going in, this was a tall order and I was so thankful. Apprehensive, but thankful. And dare I say, even grateful.
I think this season has been extremely friendly. Nobody was wanting to pull any punches. If you want to have a reunion and sit around and maybe play charades, then keep things the same. If you want to play All-Stars, then keep me here. We'll continue to play. I figured we had to spice things up a bit. It was getting a little boring as far as I was concerned.
So if the cast is decent, the twists aren't overbearing, the live feeds are all I could ever ask for, and the producers are going above and beyond to put this all together, where else could I go next other than to say that this may be a 9.5 out of 10 season? The Big Alliance was fun to watch, the groupthink wasn't that bad, and the players were even respectful of the HOH's wishes every... Oh my god. I need a raise. Okay, real talk. After this season, I have come to realize that with modern Big Brother, no matter how much makeup you put on it, it is still gonna be modern Big Brother. We're still gonna have weeks and weeks and weeks of players playing it safe, holding out like they're in a foxhole, dodging grenades just long enough until they can see the light and make a beeline. We're still gonna have a whole lot of groupthink and really bad reads across the board. Like, not even gameplay reads, just most of the players not even realizing what makes for good TV or good live feeds or good Big Brother. We're still gonna have the Mega Alliance that usually comprises the same exact type of people who are feeling the same type of way, all thinking the same, all bringing the exact same life experience to the show, all waiting in line to get picked off because who'da thunk you can't have 7 winners at the same time, just 6 losers and a whole lot of bored fans in the bleachers. Yo, Mega Alliances. All my homies hate Mega Alliances.
If you want to win, you need people around you that you're not ready to cross, but like would take the fall before you.
If we can get through the next couple of weeks, I think we start working on a bigger alliance.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, 100%. All 6 of us, socially, can hold our own.
Exactly.
Like everyone, it's gonna be like inconspicuous.
Yeah. No, I mean, that sounds great, man.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm down.
Let's put the pictures of the 6 that were working together to keep David.
Oh, wow. I'm blown away.
I like to tell myself that we got unlucky with this season and that every HOH just happened to break the same way every single week. The pendulum of power just got super glued to one side and never swung, but it was bursting at the seams and ready to. It just never happened. Sometimes a coin flipped can land on the same side 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 times in a row, and this season was that time. But you know what? I haven't slept any easier getting hit by that train of thought, and truthfully, I don't think it's that simple. Here's my take. Every single season of Modern Big Brother, from like season 16 onward, has featured powerful alliances of at least 6 or more people, sometimes 8 or 9 or 10, that have taken over for the first third of the season out of the gate. Not a shocker, Battle of the Block brought this on, and it made sense strategically, and it's since been replicated year after year to varying degrees of success. The problem I have with this strategy is that it perpetuates boring gameplay, which leads to boring television, which leads to me day drinking just to get by. Okay, maybe not exactly that, but it's unfortunate because even without Battle of the Block, this strategy has become the new meta strategy. It's what the smartest players encourage season after season, knowing they're at the epicenter and can control every layer. Or at least that's the idea. And kind of like these sleeping pills I'm taking to make up for the past 3 months, they don't always work, but when they do, it's lights out. And I say all of this as someone who loves the strategic part of these shows. I really do. For the first half of this season, I won't deny, I found some enjoyment in players making small, subtle moves, like they were playing a game of chess in slow motion, pushing a bishop a few millimeters every day. But I could see what they were setting up, and it was perfect and beautiful, and as far as the game goes, it was brilliant. After all, this is a show, but it is also a game, and I respect that part. It was a flexing of tactical prowess to the highest caliber. Personally, for me, every week my wife would struggle to want to watch another episode of BB22, but I would share details with her that you wouldn't know about in the episodes that I think made the episodes more exciting. That's a huge thing about Big Brother and this show. There's more than one way to watch it, and my experience with the live feeds may differ from yours. You may never watch a second of them and won't even care, or you may casually experience them, or you may binge this season months or years after it's wrapped up, never minding how the details matter day to day, for better or worse. All of these experiences are equally valid, and they're all okay. Call me an optimist, but the power struggle between Cody and Tyler for the first half of this season was a sight between two greats. Like watching Federer versus Nadal, it kept going back and forth, lobs and drop shots, and the spin. Oh my god, did you see that spin? Until one of them broke their racket and then decided to quit the tournament, but then decided not to, and then pissed everyone off except for their most diehard fans who were quietly cheering for them in the back, despite the umpire telling everyone to shh, be quiet. I'm sorry, yeah, I'm just writing words. I like to write words. So many words. Here's the point. If you enjoyed this season of Big Brother, congrats. And I mean it. You're probably going to get a hefty serving of seconds and thirds in the many years to come. BB23 is already renewed, but if you're like me and you didn't, and you're probably on Reddit or Twitter and you're thinking of ways the producers could fix the show to make it better, well, here we go. I have gone back and rewatched literally every season of Big Brother leading up to today. And please do not take that as me bragging. In rewatching all of the seasons, I have come to realize what made the show its best to me, and then, conversely, what made me pick up my phone and start scrolling and basically not paying attention. At the top of this video, I brought up a lot of great moments over the history of Big Brother, hallmark moments, defining moments of the show, and while I can't expect to replicate them, throw Keisha another birthday, so to speak, I can look at the ingredients baked into the cake and attempt to reproduce them. I think, without a shadow of an all-star doubt, that the biggest change Big Brother needs is in the players they cast. At the beginning of this season, I thought All-Stars could bring change, usher in a new era, but instead it turned out to be an amalgamation of the parts these players imbued from their previous seasons. Especially with all of the older players leaving early, or most of the players just being tepid and risk-averse at literally every corner, I shouldn't have been surprised when there was almost no drama, no big moves, no exciting emotionally infused bouts of gameplay. There were no hallmark moments. There was no Chilltown pulling the wool over Danielle only to then flip it the next week and pull it over Janelle. There was no Legion of Doom spawned from the ire of the Soft Six crumbling within. No I hate you all's speech, or shaved blueberry men winning veto, or battle of wits between Jedi and Sith. No puppet masters or dark horses to root for. No come from behinds or flash and pizzazz and style. To say this was All-Stars 2 was really just in name, and it was inevitable. I really do believe it was inevitable. Because no matter if you give me day one feeds, or less egregious twists, or even a full cast of returning players who are very good at the game, ultimately what it boils down to for me is that the capital B, Big Brother, two B's even, Big and Brother, with capital letters and bold font, and maybe italics, why not? The big, bold, italicized, shiny, capital B's of Big Brother are the players who make the show what it is. And they made BB22 what it was.
Wait, take a listen. Do you hear that? Those are your fans.
But that's okay, because this can be changed for the better going forward. Of course, I say that recognizing BB22 is a bit of an exception due to the pandemic and because these players are all returnees, but I imagine more often than not, future seasons will be all new players, so Let's list this out. First of all, if anything needs to be added to the show, it is any twist that drops the players' inhibitions, playing close to the vest, and encourages them to speak their mind. Alcohol is always an easy get out of or into jail free card to do this, but really, we need tasks and competitions and house events that force the players to work together or selfishly put themselves above others for prizes. Avoiding slop used to be an incentive back in the day, but it's such an afterthought now that not even the interns could bother to unlock the have-not door on the most important night of the show. I think we really need prize-oriented tasks with dollar signs on the line that encourage animosity and expose how players really feel. The best part about the older food competitions back in the heyday was how they encouraged random groupings to work together for a leg up in their daily living. We need more secret tasks, more social competitions that expose hierarchies, that expose motives and plans and skeletons in the closet. Oh, Tyler, you're going after Danny for the entire season? Tell me more about that. The players are the heart of every season, so if you get them to drop their guard and be more themselves, they will open up more and the house will get shuffled more often. Second, because a good cast usually makes or breaks a season, I think the show would benefit from having a more diverse cast from all walks of life in this country. And yes, I am talking about race, but I'm also talking about more than just that. Maybe it's just me, but I don't want just young Californians in their 20s popping off on Instagram who have never seen Big Brother or even care about it. I will take one of them, but that's my limit. I need players from all regions of the country, of all ages. I need more older players with life experience. I need more diversity in body types, in personality types. Give me a bunch of clever, brilliant, witty strategists mixed with alpha, pack-leading hotheads. One player can be like that young, conservative 24-year-old Catholic school teacher, another a 54-year-old beauty salon owner who parties hard at Mardi Gras. Oh wait, that was Dan Giesling and Rennie Martin from Big Brother 10.
Did you really just say that?
He's such an ass, isn't he? This freaking guy's driving me nuts. Stop it, Dan.
Stop it, Dan.
I mean it, Dan. I'm gonna punch you.
I'm gonna punch you.
I mean it.
I mean it.
And third, don't overdo it. I personally think that 16 people in a cast is too many. My papa used to say quality over quantity, and you know what? I agree, Dad. Seasons are too long, which causes these players to live in foxholes and band together for long bouts of time because the best meta strategy is to play it safe. When you have to survive a long summer onslaught, 99 days is a hell of a lot longer than 72, and managing 15 or 16 other people demands that you grab a hold of the nearest six-pack social media influencer and brace yourselves for the next month or two. Big, boring alliances must exist because that's the path of least resistance. I hate to say it, but I would probably do the same thing because it makes too much sense to do elsewise. And it's tough to fault modern players for creating them when it's very clearly the optimal strategy. And that's modern Big Brother in a nutshell. That's the flaw in the plan. And unfortunately, I don't think hiding the votes will change that. Big Brother isn't now a bad show. I don't want anyone to think that that's my overall conclusion thus far into this video. I still absolutely love it. I still enjoy it on a micro level. Like, I'm not above it. It's 3 in the morning right now as I'm writing and reading this, and I've written like 5,000 words of gibberish, and I really need to take a long nap, but I feel so passionate about this, and it just kind of bums me out because I was so damn bored throughout a lot of All-Stars 2, and I was so damn excited going into this season, and the finale was actually pretty fun, and I'm kind of glad that Cody won, if only because cutting Nicole at that last second was one of the most badass moves. Pretty much the only badass move, damn it, of the entire season. Okay, maybe that is the hallmark moment of All-Stars 2, and it came at the finale. It took 85 days, but damn it, we got it.
I've been playing this game 24/7 for almost 90 days and never took a minute off. During my last season, I won the final HOH and decided to take Derek with me to the final 2.
Gotta make it to the final 2. I'm so sorry, Victoria. You know I love you, but I have to evict you.
My loyalty to my ride or die cost me $500,000. This time, there is no way there's anyone getting in the way of me winning that money. I'm loyal to both Nicole and Enzo, but if I win, I'm choosing whoever I feel more confident that I can beat. I didn't come here this time just to get second place.
Although it was such a blessing to have the both of you in this final 2, this is horrible, like, to do this to one of you guys, but Nicole, I'm so sorry.
It's official, Nicole. You are the last person evicted from the Big Brother house.
Yo, you're awesome, yo. Thank you. Thank you, bro. I had you, bro. Thank you, bro.
But I just thought our bond was so close, and I did not see it coming. First thing this season I haven't seen coming.
And I think that's why I've seen so many fans, including myself, walk away from this season on a slightly higher note, feeling a little bit better than we did before, because before the finale, I was kind of checked out. I gave up on the live feeds. I was more interested in rewatching Big Brother 9 than the latest live episode of BB22, assuming CBS All Access didn't, randomly crash on me for the gazillionth time. Every year I keep advocating for a better finale structure, but this year I found myself accepting the structure, if only because I was slightly less invested than usual going into it, and it was fun to watch Nicole's reaction on the jury. She was so mad, and I love that because she really wanted it so bad, and she was so close. But I never got that from pretty much anyone on any episode or on the feeds all season. I love that Nicole was mad because, damn it, she wanted this. After 85 days, she felt that. And I felt it. And it's the only freaking thing that I really felt. Oh boy. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I still think the finale needs to stop caring about the whole live parts. It's live. Big Brother finale is live. It really is better when the final two can sit down and talk to the jury for an extended period of time, kind of like how Survivor does it with their final tribal councils, kind of like how Big Brother used to do it for the first 10 seasons. Imagine Jeff Probst telling Tony he has 30 seconds to tell his entire strategy for the season, and then gets interrupted at the end of his words with music ushering him off the stage. There is so much more to sink our teeth into, and the jury really should have that time with the finalists to make an informed decision. I also just don't think you lose anything by changing the current format of the finale, and I've never heard anyone provide a good argument for why it should exist. If anything, everyone just seems to agree with me, so I guess until it does change, I'll just keep saying it every year. The current format rewards less multi-dimensional gameplay, and for a show that runs itself something like 99 days chock full of strategy, it's absurd to see it get reduced to 30 seconds, all because it can be live. But I think BB22 is the end of an era. I think it must be, just given it's such a bizarre year for all of us and the show, and returning player seasons usually usher in change. It did for the first All-Stars 15 years ago, and I wouldn't be shocked to see BB23 be slightly different. Believe it or not, after all this time, I am an optimist, and I just want to say this: if you are potentially going to be on BB23, or you know somebody who is, please, for my sake and anyone else who feels the same way, for the fans out there who keep this show pumping along, please shatter the big mega alliance as fast as you can. Please lead it off a cliff. Do not perpetuate it. Be hungry for the win. Fight that urge to lie down and die like half the cast this year who just played it safe, like former shells of yesteryear. It's pretty crazy how the only part of this season that at all surprised me was when Davon won the veto.
I'm trying to pace myself, so I take a break, take a deep breath, and exhale.
Oh!
Oh!
We safe. She will not be the first member in the jury. It is a new chapter. It is a new season. It is a new game. Let's go, Day. Let's go. I'm so excited.
That was like the only time. Okay, no, that and Nicole. I think the finale was the best episode of this season. You wow the audience at the end, and they will walk away satisfied. Cody played a phenomenal game, an all-timer, never nominated, never evictable, and he won the final HOH, something nobody has ever done, not even Derek, after not getting nominated all season, and he wowed us in the end when I thought we had seen it all. Regardless of what I think, I just know that he has cemented himself in the upper echelon of players, arguably even surpassing the master who showed him the ropes to get here. And as far as pre-gaming goes, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm also just accepting that it happens with returning players. Because here's the truth, pre-gaming existed way back in 2004. That's where it began with Survivor All-Stars, and has existed in varying capacities with every returning player season. So I'm not about to disqualify anyone today when I haven't before. It's just not consistent. Returning player seasons have that unfortunate added aspect to them, and if you're playing the game, you better know it. I don't think there's realistically anything that we can do about pre-gaming, and no, I was definitely not told to say that by any one particular past player. Also, stop with the wall yelling. The live feeders will know what I'm talking about. It only ended up hurting the players that it intended to help. You can't put a fire out with more fire. It'll only spread it further. As Dr. Will said, you gotta think 3 steps ahead. Buy a blimp.
I definitely hope that people don't think I was the only dumb one, because there were definitely there were other dumb people in this house. There were other dumb people in this house, right?
Maybe.
You could be right, yes.
Ultimately, I don't think this was the worst season ever. It was cool to see some players return. There was a lot of good strategy amidst even more bad strategy. It did get really boring, and I do think it'll be a season that can only get better the further we distance ourselves from it, as binging tends to improve a viewing experience like this that is otherwise quite a slow crawl. Fundamentally, I have a lot of reasons to pull out my inner Karen and demand to talk to the managers of the show. I think the gameplay and the drama and the overall product has suffered, and All Stars 2 was the biggest reflection of the direction the show has veered. You can throw in any new twists or powers or returning players, but in the end, if the foundation doesn't promote what makes the show such a blast to watch in the first place, I can't say that I'll be any more surprised when we're back where we are now next year or the year after that. It doesn't need to come down to a coin flip or just getting lucky with who wins the HOH. To me, Big Brother is oftentimes at its best regardless of who wins the HOH, not because of it. To take a page from one of my favorite YouTubers, 10 years ago, I found this show, and it changed my life for the better. From Rachel to Brittany to Enzo and the Brigade, I fell in love. And now here I am 10 years later, talking into this microphone on a YouTube channel that I never expected to make. And after all is said and done, I only have one thing left to say. With Big Brother 12, I became a fan. With Big Brother 14, I became a super fan. And with Big Brother All Stars 2, I became disappointed. Sorry about sounding so down and out about this season. It really isn't my least favorite ever, believe it or not. I really lost interest in it pretty hard down the home stretch and had a lot of time to think about everything before we got to this point. Regardless of that, I want to say thank you guys for watching this entire doozy of a video, even the very ending where it faded to black and you're still here. I really appreciate your time and attention. I look forward to talking to you guys every week. For me, it's something to cling to, so thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, even if you don't agree with everything I had to say, or maybe you did. Either way, we have a long off season ahead of us. I plan on talking a lot more about Big Brother and Survivor every week going forward, as well as playing some video games here and there. So I hope I still get to see you guys around for BB23 or Survivor or whatever. Maybe I will go on Twitch soon and you can watch me take that long nap. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next one.
From outside the Big Brother house, I'm Julie Chen Moonves. Remember, always have faith. Be safe, be well, and be good to one another. And remember the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If you have the choice of being right or being kind, always choose kindness. Be kind. Leave judgment at the door. Let kindness be the rule for everything you say. Don't judge, or you too will be judged. Be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Be just, be merciful. Always live in truth and love. And we'll see you next summer. Good night.
Yeah.